The movie starts with Heather and her two friends, Connie and Amy, rushing to the train station to catch the train that will take them to Barcelona. They make it on time, get on the train, and sit down, and we learn that they're on a trip around Europe, moving from city to city on a set route. While on the train, we notice Amy checking out a guy among the passengers. Amy gets up, goes over to him, and talks to him, leaving Heather with Connie. A little while later, another passenger is surprised to find out he has to sleep in the luggage racks. That night, the guy looks at Heather and tells her he can't sleep because sleeping on the luggage racks is uncomfortable. He asks her what's keeping her awake, and Heather says she's thinking about a novel she was reading. They exchange some nice words, and he introduces himself as Jack from New Zealand, wishing her a good night before trying to sleep. The next day, they arrive in Barcelona. Outside the train, Jack is with them and follows them out of the station. Jack learns that they are going to meet that night at a nightclub and agrees to meet them there. They say goodbye and leave. Later, Heather and her two friends go sightseeing in Barcelona. That night, they head to the nightclub. Jack shows up with his friend Rafe, greets them, and Connie goes to dance with Rafe. Amy spots Victor, the guy she met on the train, goes to him, and dances, leaving Heather with Jack. Jack suggests they leave the club because the music is too loud and annoying. They go outside and start talking, getting to know each other. Heather asks Jack if he has a job, and he says he's currently unemployed, but has done a bunch of random jobs. Heather tells him she studied at college, then moved to New York City to work as an accountant at a bank. Jack comments that they seem very different in lifestyle. Heather likes planning and structure, while he enjoys spontaneity and randomness, and he thinks that their differences might be the reason they could be together. Heather seems impressed by his spontaneity and personality. Later, we see Heather walking and talking to Connie on the phone, with Jack and Rafe behind them. Connie tells Heather she likes Rafe and will spend the night with him. Heather says goodbye to Connie and walks with Jack. They talk about their interests in literature and novels. Jack points out a cable car, takes her along, and they climb to the cabin. From there, they look over the city's view. Jack tells her that his grandfather kept a diary and left it to him before passing away. He planned this trip to visit all the places mentioned in his grandfather's diary, and Heather thinks it's sweet that he's honoring his grandfather's memory by visiting these places. A romantic moment happens, and Jack kisses her. The next day, they wake up together in the cable car as it moves from place to place. A worker shouts at them for being in the cable car, so they get off quickly and escape the staff. At the hotel, Amy, upset, tells them that Victor, the guy she met on the train, stole her money and belongings. She woke up to find her passport and cash missing. They want to report it to the embassy, but Jack asks her to show him Victor's apartment. Amy takes them there. At the door, Victor denies stealing anything, but when threatened with calling the police, he gets nervous and says he'll look for her stuff. Jack pushes the door before he can close it, they break in, and Victor escapes out the window. They find Amy's belongings along with extra money, which Jack assumes is also stolen, and they have the right to take it as compensation. They leave happily, renting a convertible with the money, driving to a coastal village. Heather asks them to stop so she can take some photos, but Jack refuses to be in the pictures. They continue walking along the beach, rent a boat, have fun together, and go diving. Amy later tells them she's decided to travel around Europe alone to meet another guy she knows from another city, confident she won't get tricked this time. They say goodbye. Connie goes with Rafe in a taxi. Jack invites Heather to join him to visit the next spot in his grandfather's diary. She agrees and they head there together. At the next location, Jack sees a group of tourists taking selfies and comments that they're not living in the moment, calling them superficial. Heather takes it personally because she also takes selfies. She tells him he's judging people and gets upset, walking away. Jack follows and apologizes, telling her her flight is in an hour, so they shouldn't leave mad at each other. Heather forgives him, and Jack drives her to the airport but asks her to stay with him, trying to convince her to extend her trip. Heather hesitates but agrees. They continue to the next location in the diary the following day. Jack shares more of his thoughts and beliefs about life with Heather. They have a night together in a hotel room. The next day, they attend a bull festival. Jack suddenly runs with the locals among the bulls, but gets hit by a fence and ends up in the hospital with an arm injury. Heather calls him reckless, but Jack doesn't care and decides nothing will stop him from completing his journey. Days pass, and they continue moving from place to place following his grandfather's diary, without planning or knowing where they'll go next. Heather updates Connie and Amy by phone, telling them she's enjoying her trip and asks what will happen between her and Jack afterward. Heather doesn't know and says she'll try to talk to Jack to find out the future of their relationship. On the bus, Heather sleeps while Jack gets a call. He sits at another chair and talks to his doctor, who tells him he needs another scan. Jack agrees, but we don't know why. He goes back to Heather, visibly worried. While eating, Heather finds a folded paper in the diary Jack hadn't noticed. Jack reads it. His grandfather wrote about an island called Santa Bo, where there's a yearly dance festival, and people believe the dance confronts death. Neither Jack nor Heather knows if the festival still happens. Heather keeps the note in her bag. While walking, Heather asks Jack if he plans to write a book about his experience. Jack says no. He doesn't like thinking about the future, just living in the moment. Heather insists they need to talk seriously because she feels uncertain if he doesn't plan ahead. She wants to know the fate of their relationship, but Jack avoids giving a clear answer, causing conflict and frustration between them. The next night, Jack surprises Heather in the hotel room, saying he decided to travel with her to New York. Heather is thrilled because that's what she wanted. The next day, they go to the airport together, but Jack gets a call from his doctor about his latest results. Jack hesitates, excuses himself to the bathroom, and is late coming back. Heather texts him, but he doesn't reply. She waits, worried, and as passengers board, she can't find him. She hears the final boarding call, calls him again with no answer, and has to board the plane, realizing he left her behind. She feels sad and teary-eyed. Later in New York, Heather meets Connie and Amy and tells them what Jack did. Amy thinks he's cruel and tricked her, and Connie agrees. A few days later, Heather goes to Texas to visit her family. Her family welcomes her happily. At home, Heather tells her dad about traveling with Jack, how she usually feels comfort when she has a plan, but traveling with him without planning gave her a different, enjoyable feeling. Her dad tells her that feeling is freedom, but warns that it's fun at first and doesn't last long. He hopes she makes decisions that make her happy. Heather later gets a message from Connie saying Rafe proposed, and they're planning the wedding soon. Heather is happy and promises to attend. At the wedding, Heather dances with Rafe and wants to know if Jack has contacted her since leaving. Rafe senses she needs an answer, takes her aside and gives her a letter Jack left for her months ago. Heather reads it. Jack says he made a hard decision leaving her at the airport, reveals he's ill with a malignant tumor, hid it from her, and cherished their time together. He admits he was avoiding reality because his life wasn't certain, but the trip with her gave him fulfillment, and the shared memories helped him understand himself in his final days. Heather remembers the diary note, finds it in her bag, reads about Sanibel Island, and looks it up on the map, expecting Jack to go there. She decides to travel there, informs her friends, and leaves for the island. Upon arriving, she finds the dance festival, sees Jack, and is surprised. She approaches him. He asks how she found him. She explains she remembered her grandfather's diary and kept hope. Jack admits he can't promise her a future, but Heather says she only wants the moment with him. She confesses her love, and Jack reciprocates. They move closer to each other amid the festival and dancing, and the movie ends.